Well, how's it going, everybody? Hope you are well. Hope you're surviving out there. Just gonna check the audio here. Okay, cool. Just a couple seconds behind on the monitor, so we'll keep the tunes in the background, and let me know if that level's good. Cool. Alrighty, how's it going? I am BirdDogJon, back for another hour. Beginning of the week, it's Tuesday, and so we are moving along here, trying to get some tickets closed. People have lots of questions these days, so we are slugging away at those things, but we will take an hour out of the day to try and just answer some questions one-on-one, talk about Bird Dog, talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, so we can go down that road, whatever road you're working on right now, especially if you're into streaming or broadcasting, or if you're on my Facebook feed, you're probably a personal friend of mine, so feel free to reach out to me there. I am watching that, all the chats, so I'm using the new, that's weird, I've heard this song before. I think my playlist, so it's on shuffle, but it would appear that my playlist just started over. Let me take a look at that folder and just make sure that we got all those songs in there. Yep, they're all in there, so sorry about the repeat, but we'll survive it. If you've been, I've actually had the program open for the past hour, so all of these songs have played through at least once for me today, but there is over an hour worth of music in there, so it should you shouldn't get too bored with it too fast. But yeah, so we got lots going on, and as Bursky has said here, the COVID situation's getting, I don't know, it's kind of, I feel like it gets better, then it gets worse, and nobody really knows what to make of it, so we are trying to navigate that here and in Australia as well, and with our distributors and our manufacturer and all that stuff, so it's been quite the challenge. Anyway, so but I am monitoring the chats. I'm using the new Restreams, the like chat thing that allows you to mix all the chats together. So if you want your chat to show up in Twitch, you'll need to be you'll need to be on Twitch. So twitch.tv/BirdDogJon, and there's a little chat option there, and then when you type like questions for the group and whatever, they will appear on the actual screen. So, which is right here? No, here, over here. So, yeah. But anyways, anywhere that you are joining me today, thanks for hanging out. How's it going in the States? Well, the States is, I think we're just kind of treading water at this point, hoping that someone figures out something with the vaccine. Some people are less concerned than others. Some people are way over concerned. I don't know if that's even possible, but anyway, it's going. It's about the same as it is everywhere, and we're doing our best not to go out of our houses, whatever we need, any more than we need to. And then cold weather has hit Michigan, and so seasonal allergies are kicking up. The common cold is starting, so that's going to be an interesting navigation with school and all that stuff. Kids, runny noses and sore throats and all that stuff. So who knows? A lot more tests in our future, I think. But anyway, good times. Good times. Trying to think of if I have any announcements. There are some I can go over beta firmwares, whatever we've got available here. Let me find... let me just open a new site. The presence of a large underground saltwater lake has been confirmed on Mars. Discovery of 3 buried lakes intrigues scientists. Well, yeah, I'd hope so. All right, so if I jump over here and just take a peek at any betas that have been posted recently. So we've got one for 4K HDMI version 1.6.5. So if you've got a 4K unit in HDMI, you're wanting it to decode and a couple of audio corrections and a few things, there's a beta for that. It's not final firmware, so please don't think it is. Also 4K SDI 165 is available, also beta. And it looks like P100 has an update 3.5. Is that on the website yet? Yeah, it's on the website. 3.5 is on the website already, so no need to get that from me. And it looks like that's it for most recent posts. So just a couple of the 4K family have a few beta updates if you're interested in it. Not quad, but the other two, HDMI and SDI. Let me know if you need those, and I can get those over to you. Okay. Let me know where you're watching today's show. Send me a like or a comment or something so I know you're out there. Really appreciate you hanging out, seeing what I think the people on Facebook are probably just more curious as to what it is that I'm doing. Why I would be live on Facebook. People probably don't know that, but hey, whatever, it's fun. Otherwise, there's a bunch of you on Twitch, so that's cool. Question about cloud. What are the bandwidth requirements for one P200? Doesn't matter about what device, what NDI device you're using, it's about throughput. So you're going to need 7 to 10 megabits up per NDI stream, and then you're going to need another 10 down on your destination. So 10 is like a super safe number because it kind of maxes out around 7 or 8. And so if you allocate 10, then you know that there's really no bottleneck with the internet. But depends too, like what you're planning on doing. There's a couple of ways to customize it where you can take the P200 and send that to cloud. But if you're not sending audio, you can say no audio. That'll bring it down a little bit. If you want to actually encode it down to like 3 or 5, you lose some quality, but you can, actually configure it to do that. I'd be happy to walk you through some of that actually, just to show you configurations, because they get a little like people just kind of play around with them, which is fine. But it'd go a lot faster if you knew exactly what it was that you're looking at. So I can jump on here and just show you what that is. I gotta log in, I guess. There it is. All right, let's take a quick look. So, actually, I can see everybody's configuration, so I'll get into mine before we do too much of that. There we go. Wow. Did I click on companies or configuration? On configurations. Ah. Here it is. Okay, cool. So here we go. Okay. And do you need a computer between the NDI and your internet? Yes. So the computer is the endpoint. So that's what's going to run on Windows 10. That's what's going to run the endpoint to talk to cloud and to make the connection over to the other endpoint. So you need NDI signal on one side at your remote site. You need a Windows 10 machine with the endpoint installed on it. Then you need access to our cloud server, and you need access to the public IP address of your other destination. And on the other side, you need to have Windows 10 endpoint and then your NDI. Well, it just makes it available at the other side. I don't care how you ingest it on the other side, but yes, that is the plan. Okay, so here we go. Let me see here. Yeah, okay. So this is my own personal setup. I'm running a couple of things, but the key pieces to look at here are bitrate. So I have mine set to 7. This is kind of like my go-to. 7 megs. I use a variable bitrate. I use H.264, but I use the NVENC encode because that is the NVIDIA accelerator. So I've got 2 NVIDIA cards. I've got a 2 G1 Gaming GeForce 970s that are SLI bridged together. And so when you look on my matrix, you see the you see both of the GPUs, you know, like the feedbacks showing how hard they're working. So I've got 2 of those, and so I can use the NVENC codecs. If you don't have an NVIDIA card that can do streams like this, concurrent streams, then you can't use this option. But there's also, Intel has one called QuickSync, which is a similar version. The nice thing about these is that it takes the encode process away from the CPU and puts it on the GPU, which frees up the computer's main, I mean, there's memory as well, but main brain power to do other things. And with Windows 10, it requires some brain power to do some of those other things. So using NVENC 264 is, if you have a GPU, is much better because it takes the whole process and puts it on a different processor. And with that being said, it also is much better encoded on the GPU because it's tailored for that specific type of accelerator. So you benefit even more so than, it's not just apples to apples, CPU to GPU. It's more like apples to oranges because it's a whole different process. So anyways, I use NVENC 264. Some of these things I would just leave for now, baseline default as you're initially setting up, and GOP size 12 is fine. You won't have this owner strip. That's me because I'm an admin. And then we just hit save. And then we jump back to our matrix. And here you can see my USA support office. See, my CPU is running like 50-60% right now, whereas my graphics cards aren't really doing anything. I mean, one of them is doing some work here to do the actual stream. But for the most part, my GPUs aren't really doing anything, especially the first one. So there's lots of space there to do an encode. And if I were to fire up a NDI signal, if you just give me a second, I'll plug in a camera. And then you'll be able to actually see what I'm talking about. All right. All right, so this isn't going to be pretty because I didn't set this up beforehand. Now, and we've got like training videos and stuff on a lot of this on the website, on the knowledge database. There's actually a cloud tutorial page. So if you're looking for that, feel free to jump over to the actual cloud website. And then there's here, I think, question marks and then tutorials. So check that out. Also, if you need to download the endpoint again, it's right there. The latest one will be always posted right there. So that's a nifty little, heads up. All right, so what do I got going on here? Why isn't my... You know what it might be? Let me just, let me check my network card real quick. Oh boy. Yeah, it's here. All right, so there's my camera. All right, let me get this positioned correctly so you don't see a messy office. Oh, there it isn't. Oh, all right, I'm having network issues. Fun. Okay, let's go in here. Advanced. All right, so I have a grievance. My grievance is this. Many of you know that I'm setting up, or I have been in the process of setting up a Unify test network. Late last week, I was monkeying through some things, and my devices, my switches and my gateway, both disappeared. They disconnected, and I have not been able to get them to talk again. Actually, I got them to talk briefly, and now they're disconnected again. So I'm kind of all done with that, but I've got to get them rebuilt because it's like $1,000 in equipment that is just sitting here not doing anything. All right, one off-topic quick question. After recent performance updates for the BirdDog Mini, is there any chance that you will try to implement or test simultaneous encode-decode again, or did you throw away this idea because of another issue? Okay, so as you know, in 3.0, we used to offer simultaneous encode-decode. It didn't work correctly. Okay, we had problems with the receive side, so with the signal going back, so you would encode one, that one worked fine. But on the way back, we had issues with the actual receive side, and so it didn't work right. And it didn't work right even if you turned off the transmit. So the receive side always had a problem. And it would drop frames and have performance issues. We get tickets all, like, oh, I can't, this is useless. You need to fix it, yada, yada, yada. Well, on the website, it doesn't actually say it will do simultaneous encode-decode. And our engineers are working on a whole new product line. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff. So we had to strike it for now. I cannot say, they've said we might be able to revisit it. We might not. So I can't say whether or not the plan is to ever do it again. I know that they still have the beta, the actual code that made it do it, but it doesn't work right. And so they were thinking they were going to have to rebuild it from the ground up, which is, a very real thing. But that's going to take time. It's going to take a couple weeks of programming, and we don't really have like a big programming fleet or guys that are, just sitting around doing nothing. They're always busy. So it's more of an issue of, is it something that we do? Is it a feature that we try and enable on this one, or do we, especially on like a 4-year-old product, or do we try and look forward and see what other features we can enable? Because in all honesty, like after 4 years of owning something, most companies stop updating it, and BirdDog doesn't do that. We continually come out with fixes and patches and features and all that stuff. But there will be a point, like this is a relatively new company, there will be a point where we have to say like, all right, this is the product, like this is it, this is what it does, and we can't push the hardware to do anymore because it's, in all seriousness, it's aging a bit. And so that's why we come out with, the 4K family, which is all 4K stuff, but it can do a fair bit. It has a much faster processor and computing power, and same with Flex and all that sort of good stuff. So I don't know if Studio and Mini are going to have encode decode. It generated like a lot of physical heat, for example. It created drop frames on the receive regardless of how you used it. The 3.0 firmware is still available with the encode decode beta function on it. So if you want that, like if you're running NDI, well, I guess it was 3.8 back then, but if you can try it, see if it works for you, but no guarantees, and it's not supported. So, the first thing I always do is, are you running the latest firmware? Because that's how we report back to the engineers. Hey, client has an issue, they're running the latest firmware, and then our guys know, okay, this is a current issue. So that's in a nutshell what's going on with encode decode. The quad will do encode decode. When its final firmware is out, we'll do encode decode. But as it is right now, we do not have a unit that will do both at the same time. You have to pick and choose what you want the unit to do, which is what they're advertised as. You know, they haven't been pushing. Somebody found an advertisement from like 3-4 years ago. They sent it to me. They're like, it says that it will do dual encode. And I was like, yeah, this is a really old advertisement. And it actually says future features, I believe. But even that, dual encode, and that's not a feature that is integrated yet with Studio. So it has one function. You can tell it to encode or decode, but it can do one function at a time, and that's where they're at right now with that. So yeah, that wasn't off topic. I don't know what you're talking about. Beep chirp. So sort of like that one-off feature mentioned, the P100 NDI manual that got revised out. Bugzeek, what's going on? Hey everybody. I was just asking, thanks. I can't use 3.0 because of crashing vMix, but good to know. Even drop frames on receive side wouldn't be an issue. It's for camera operators, and that's what people are still using it for, actually. That's the main function. That one feature mentioned in the P100 manual that got revised out, what feature was that? I don't remember what feature that was, Beep Chirp. Do you? Obviously you do. What was it? I don't even know if I have an old manual. I can look that up. Tally on the P100 using LEDs. Yes, it got revised out. It's NDD. No big deal. Yes, it was revised out. I don't know if it's impossible. I don't know. I will have to check with the guys on that because... yeah, that's an interesting one. I just haven't heard I haven't heard about Tally on the P100 in a while. I need to verify with my guys on that. That if it's actually a dead feature. How's it going, everybody? What's going on Facebook? A few people on Facebook right now. Hope you're doing well. Kathy Allen, thanks for the like. Appreciate that. Tell Judson I say hi. How's it going, guys? Awesome. Judson's a good guy. He's got a lot going on, that dude. That is for sure. You eventually learn the guys who are regularly installing stuff, because they contact me more often than others. But Judson's one of those guys that's trying to make the best installations for NDI for houses of worship and schools and all that sort of good stuff, so it's cool. I haven't heard from him recently, but I think he's got a ticket in with the big chiefs over in Australia. Okay, so yeah, way too much. 6 kids! I didn't know he had 6 kids. Good night. Yeah, okay, so he's got to stay busy, I guess, to keep the food on the table. So anyways, we talked about the configuration for a few minutes, and now we can actually like push an NDI signal because my P200 is online. So I'm going to send it over to, let's send it to Norway because they have little going on over there. So rendezvous is fine. Oh, whoops, wrong way. This one, like this. Knutson Cam, which is mine. I'm going to pick my usual one, my little test one that I'm doing there. And I'm going to send PTZ control and tally, but I'm going to say no audio. This port is fine. I know it's open on my network. And the rest is good. So we'll do this, say connect. Now I have my endpoint set up to where, oh shoot. That's why I didn't continue this. Because this guy is not showing up on this network. Bummer. So anyways, so this is actually transmitting data, but there's nothing in the NDI stream because I'm having network issues. So you can, when you connect this, there's a couple things that you pay attention to. The first is the drop packets. You don't want to see drop packets. Lost packets is okay because they'll typically resend. But if they don't, then you've got a problem. And there's a couple things we can do to tweak that. The first is go back into the configuration, hit edit, and we can increase the latency. And the way we do that is we check the round trip time, which is here. So 263, and we just say, let's just say 260 times 2.5, 650. So 650 is my estimated buffer, and I can just change 120 to 650. And hit apply or save. It will make this, it'll reconnect. And then that should eliminate all drop packets. If it doesn't, there's probably an internet issue, or maybe you're out in the boondocks, or I don't know, maybe you don't have very good service or something like that. But that is how you make sure that you have a good connection. Now, it will slow down, obviously, the transmission, but it will allow for all the packets to arrive in time and be resent if needed. So we take our round trip time of 260, we multiply it by 2.5, which means that it can go there and back again and re-request without dropping a frame, okay? So 2.5 is about right. Of course, I don't have any issues sending anything to Norway, and so I don't need to keep it at 120. And a matter of fact, if you don't have any drop packets at 120, you can start lowering it. So you can lower it down to 80, maybe down to 60, see how that goes. It'll shorten up your latency time. The cool thing there is that if you're using WebRTC, then that signal is coming into Norway over there, and Norway can then turn that signal around here and send it to WebRTC, to which then I can go to the WebRTC website, log in with our PIN code, and I can watch the return feed coming from Norway. So I could send my P200 to him, and then he could turn around the production, whatever the final product is, if it's an interview or something like that, and he can send it back to me, and I can just watch on the website. The beautiful thing there is you only need to send one NDI feed through the channel, and then the other NDI feed is going out of Norway and up to basically a cloud server. So it's a lot faster. So while I'm watching, it's like watching on a YouTube video. It's actually kind of like what you're doing here. I'm sending video from my computer to Twitch, and then you're logging onto Twitch and you're watching it. You're watching it off of their website. So I don't have to send it to you and then you have to connect some other way and like create all this latency. Instead, I just send it once and then they just send it up to their public servers, and that's it. You just watch it live on there, and it's only like a few seconds delayed. My actual restream feed is only like 8 seconds behind, so that's pretty good. Same thing here is the WebRTC feed is so fast that you can actually have a conversation and there's very little latency. You know that when you watch the news, right, and they're doing interviews and the person's standing in front of the White House and or wherever, and they're chatting with the person back in the studio and they have an earpiece in, and they're like, oh, so-and-so, tell us about, what happened today in the federal courts. And it's like 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. And they're like, hey, thanks. And they like start the conversation. That is not conversational interview. That is the delay in transmission from send to receive is like way too large. And they do it that way to minimize costs, honestly. It's the cheapest way to do it. but it's not. It doesn't ever give the impression that the two people can have a conversation. And if they do, the interviewer asks the reporter questions. There's like you're wasting 3 to 4 seconds, even like or more, every time you ask a question. So you're adding that onto your transmission. If you ask 3 or 4 questions, there's 20 seconds that you've pretty much just committed to dead air. So it doesn't work very well doing it that way. So this way is a lot faster, where I can send my signal to a remote site, Melbourne, Norway, somewhere on the other side of the world. They can take it, turn it around, and pretty much talk to me in real time with very minimal delay, up to WebRTC. So if I had a valid NDI signal, I would send it to WebRTC and show you how that's done, but I don't, and so that will be on Thursday. Come back on Thursday and get to experience that. I don't know what is going on with the network. I actually reset the gateway today, and of course it's not working. So pretty fun. Let's see if I can troubleshoot some things here. I can go back to just the regular show. Was it 19? Where's my phone? I can find out where the gateway is. Okay. Where are we here? This one. Oh. Yeah. Weird. So, using your fancy NDI to Dante bridge, can you then bring a Dante source over your SRT service to be able to mix audio in as well? Audio only source, no video. Well, if you convert it to an NDI signal, then yes, you could bring it across as an NDI channel, right? I don't think you need to send video frames in order for it to work, from what I've seen, although I don't have a Dante network here, so I can't really like jump in and test it. But in theory, because it does turn Dante channels into NDI channels, so you should be able to bring it in as an audio source, technically, over NDI, which then gets converted to SRT with the cloud, right? So yeah, I don't even have I need like the Dante sound card or something so that I can generate Dante channels and then send them through Bridge to change them over to NDI and then send them through cloud and send them over to Australia. Yeah, that would be quite the roundabout way, but just for testing purposes, yeah, that probably needs to happen. I'll need to ask the guys on that. Good news that both DVS and Dante Via have a free trial. Then, oh, good. Dante Avio is a great way for simple Dante projects. Probably want Via since it can act as a clock master. Let's check it out. I haven't done too much digging. 30-day trial. Whamp, whamp. All right, I'll leave this open and watch this later. That is not right here. can't seem to get to the gateway. I'm starting to like VIA more for some things than I do DVS itself, because VIA has some built-in routing and duplication capabilities that DVS doesn't. So you can map, say, Ableton to VIA and then still echo VIA's output to local speakers, in addition to sending it out over the network. That is interesting. I am not a... Again, I said, like, I don't use Dante. Something that I thankfully haven't had to use, but I'm going to have to probably like set it up and use it for a while, because I know these sorts of questions are coming and folks are going to want to talk about it. I have no idea what is going on with this Unify network. So frustrating. So frustrating. See, I can't do anything right now, or else I don't know if this card is being used for this show. VIA is awesome, and when you need to convert non-Dante mixer to Dante, Avio hardware is awesome, or VIA with DAW. Cool. Well, set up a Discord and then we can talk. You and your Discord. I looked at this after we got offline last week. Some of us don't like Facebook. It doesn't have to be on Facebook. But if it's going to be another social media channel, I have to do that through the marketing guys, because they want to monitor it. Are you sure there isn't a Discord channel already? Slack. I know Slack. Would prefer not to use Slack, but it is what it is. Yeah, I know, but they still want to monitor everything, right? Just fine. I'd prefer that they monitor it and not make me monitor it, because I'm busy. Currently busy. Well, maybe we'll look at Discord, see what we got here. Why Discord is different. Discord gives you the power to create your own place to belong. Your Discord server is your home, shared with only special people you invite. Topic-based text channels give you an organized way to talk about all the things that you love and share your instant cooking mishaps while coordinating next week's game night. Are you ready to hang out? Grab a seat in a voice channel. Your server's lounge area is designed so you can pop in and out of voice and video conversations throughout the day. Alright. It certainly looks a lot like social media. I could always go to the underground unsupported community BirdDog server. Yeah, Eamon might pull you aside if you do stuff like that. I was a part of a couple of Discord channels for like video games that I started playing, and guys like found me on Twitch, like, come join our Discord channel. And then I got in there and it was like, there's so much going on. This song again? Something's not right. This song should not play 3 times in 1 hour. What is going on here? Let's find out. Whoops. Sorry, everybody. I'll fix it. I think. Oh, it dumped it completely. Done. It's the same song. This song does, it's fine. It's just not like, anyway. I might be multi-platform. Seriously? Okay, so here's whoa. Here's an interesting thing that the guy that runs BirdDog Cloud, he just said, hey, do me a favor and log into BirdDog Cloud on Internet Explorer. It should error out. Okay. I mean, I would hope it would error out. Huh. Weird. Yeah, I'm pushing out to multiple platforms this week. Not really like monetizing anything here. That's interesting. So, whoops. Want to become famous? Buy followers, primes, and views on bigfollows.com. Bigfollows.com! Sorry, dude. See ya. They gone. BirdDogJon has banned such and so sepsicles. Well done. Don't forget to buy your followers. You want to be famous? Isn't that like being fake famous? That's like adding audience noise to an empty stadium. People aren't really cheering. Whose benefit is that for? Um... Sorry, I'm trying to think through what I'm supposed to be doing here. Bird dog, where are you? Okay, there. Okay. That's enough. Like, do people really buy their followers? Like, what benefit is that? Maybe so that you can, like, move up in the affiliation ranks and stuff? That is weird to me. I have no idea. Okay, so 13 minutes to go, and my things I need to fix this week. My test bench network. Copy this. Whoops. Try. Oh, yep. Oh, hopefully you avoided that sneeze. Let's see. I'll re-watch it on the monitor. Whew, that like knocked something loose. Come on. Oh, good. That actually worked. So I've noticed that there's like a fair bit of delay with my stream deck. So I have it, you know, like controlling the audio channels, the mute and whatever. I can turn the music off, you turn my microphone off. But when I hit the mute button, I think it happens right away. But in terms of how it reacts on the stream deck, it takes like a couple of seconds to do, which would be frustrating if I really needed to like confirm that the audio channel was off. If something happened and I hit it, I don't really care that much. There are some people who care more than me. It may just be like a simple update that I haven't done. Let's see if we get an update. Check for updates. Your stream deck is up to date. So no. Yeah, wow, that did knock something loose. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, I'm so sick of the political season already. Although with coronavirus and me hunkered down in my home office, I've been able to avoid a lot of it, which has been good. But people who really enjoy that stuff, we don't hang out. All right, maybe I should close some Chrome tabs to alleviate some of the processor that's probably chewed up. Whoa. Yes, okay, close all these. Cool. Well, I'm good. Are you guys good? Got anything you'd like to chat about before we finish up? Just trying to think about what's going on this week. I don't know of anything immediate that needs to be like announced or anything. I plan to be back on Thursday. We're doing another... Oh, I got straight my glasses. We'll be doing another hour show on Thursday, and maybe I'll be more versed on Discord. Who knows? Since Beep Chirp keeps telling me about it, so I better look into it and make a decision, right? I'm gonna fix my network. I'm also gonna clean my office because it has been an absolute dump the past few weeks, and that is not good. So, I'm gonna run NDI analysis real quick and just see. I've got my P200 on there. Keeps telling me about it. I've mentioned it twice. Yeah, over and over. I mean, over twice. Okay, so this is interesting. The gateway has reset and is issuing IP addresses based on a new range. So you have a lot of BirdDog minis in the back you need to get rid of. No, those are just boxes. And they're not all minis. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4 minis. The rest are studios. There's a Flex in the corner. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 P200s. And wait, 5, 6, 7 P200s, an A300, and 2 P100s. And then I've got a box of about 20 other Flex types. So, oh, and that's not even the half of it. It's not even the half. Just P200s. P200s alone, I think there's 13 of them in here. And one of them is working. So that has been a whole year. Probably shouldn't tell you all this, but that's been a whole year of me like receiving them and fixing them and that sort of thing. The numbers that we've sold are, let's just say this is far below 1%. But yeah, I don't ship everything back to Australia actually, I've never shipped anything back to Australia in terms of like non-functioning product. And so I am the BirdDog RMA process. They come back from distributors, they come to me, I physically look at them and see if there's anything we can do about them. And then if there is or there isn't, then I fix it and I send it, or I don't fix it and we issue a replacement. So that's usually how it goes. But I am, in any other place in the world, we have distributors that handle all that like logistical stuff. Here in the US, we don't. We have distributors who sell it, but they don't do any repair or anything. So basically falls to me to make sure that products come in, get examined, and then go out. I've got 14. I've got a little white P200 here, a little Stormtrooper, and he's getting assessed this week, and then hopefully go back. He's got his ticket number on him, so literally I've made a ticket, little number, and put it on there. So when the product comes to me, I label it, I do a quick assessment. If it's something I gotta like take the camera apart and fix, that's one thing, but yeah, for the most part, I have a level of service that I can provide here in my office, and then we've got to either replace it or ship it out somewhere else. So that is what all the products are about. Now, some of them are shipped here just because, like big cameras, for example, need a home, and that's what that guy is. That's actually a demo A300, but he's fully functional, and that's one that we take to trade shows, and I ship it out to prospective clients, like big wigs and stuff, if they want to actually see an A300. So he's been around, I'll put it that way. I take a P200 for testing and quality and return it to you afterwards. Well, seeing that I've only got one that works, I can't send it to you because that's the one I use to test. Everything else needs to probably go back to Australia. All right, so I did find out my camera is getting the wrong IP range. And it's probably because the gateway is on and is acting as the DHCP server for some reason. What's also strange is I can look up the IP address of the actual gateway, which is here, and it tells me what it is. But when I go to that address to log into it, it doesn't come up. So that's a problem. That is the problem. 8080 maybe? I know they like 8080 as their ports. Nope. That's not it. Well, I'll figure it out after the show. I'm gonna basically have to redo that whole thing and add those to my network. Here's the thing about, so the default network subnet for Unify is 192.168.1, and I don't mind that, except it's the default for a lot of stuff. And so, like, I wish they had made it something else, like .10 or .20 or something, like something unique, so that if you boot it up and you wanted to just use it, you could, but you typically don't use 192.168.1 in your installations because that's the default for a lot of stuff, and you want to make sure that it's talking correctly to your network. So if I leave this and then everything's 192.168.1, as I change out devices and plug things in, like if I bring in a PTZ1 or I bring in a Sony, BRC X400 or something like that, and it gets a 1 dot address, but it's having issues, I don't know if that's because it's just sitting on static fallback and my DHCP didn't issue it an ID or something else. So if you change it to something else, then it's more identifiable. So I use increments of 7, so 17 or 7 or 77 or something like that. Nice try. So multiple DHCP is gonna run an extra 15 minutes because I was late joining, right? Yeah, right. Probably not. No. We gotta get back to it. And you aren't using an Intel NIC with the ProSet software, so you can do VLANs on your Windows 10 box. No. So no, I don't run VLANs for NDI. I run isolated networks, which is the outline, the NewTek outline. The outline is you run an isolated network with its own DHCP server and its own routing, and it's a full-fledged high-performance network. When you run VLANs, you're running multiple forms of data over the same silicon processors. So like your switch, for example, you can VLAN out the ports and they get VLAN tags, but that switch is still doing all the leverage, all the work. Isolated networks literally mean you have your own switches and your own stuff, and it routes the data all on its own. That's the preferred method, because then it's not Dante, or it's not something else, or it's not somebody being rogue, or it's not like, I had a customer the other day that was like, said something about, the NDI stuff's not working. And then I said, well, what else is on the network? And they're like, well, we just plugged it into the school network. I'm like, so you don't even have control of your high performance network? Is it even a high performance network? They said, well, it's Cisco 2960 series. And I'm like, those are discontinued switches, and they don't scale correctly. Like, they're discontinued for a reason. Anyway, so you have multiple NICs on your... Yes, I have multiple NICs. I have a fiber NIC, and then I have 3 other NICs on this computer to get into the network different ways. I'm also familiar with how isolated networks work. I spent a decade at Tier 1 ISP. Good. Well then, I don't have to explain it to you. Hopefully there's somebody else out there that is wondering why their NDI network's not working. And the problem is, like, okay, so I can talk networking stuff to you here on Twitch, but I can't service your network. So if you call me and you tell me that your P200 is not working, I'm going to have you plug it into the computer that I'm logged in on, TeamViewer. I'm going to double check it, make sure it's functioning right. And then I'm going to say, you have network issues. And you're going to say, well, what do I have to do to get my network to work? And I'm going to say, networks are a dime a dozen, and they're as unique as the people who install them. And so you have to own your network from the ground up, and you have to know how the stuff works. And so some people like VLANs, some people like isolation. Me, I would prefer that you use isolation just because it's a little more straightforward. And when it comes to network, when it comes to me actually logging in and looking at your network, you pretty much eliminate everything if it's an isolated network. And their Google search is going to magically turn up this segment in the Not Google. There are 6 viewers in Twitch still. There's a couple people on Facebook and a couple people on YouTube. So let's hopefully somebody will find that useful. Hopefully. All right. Well, I've had a blast, fellas and ladies. Thank you so much for hanging out. I am going to figure out what's going on with my network and probably just start it over because that's the easiest thing to do. And unfortunately, I don't like that I have to do that. But according to the Ubiquity forums, it's pretty much what I have to do. So that'll be me for the next 30 minutes. 30 minutes. And then I'll be on to tickets for the rest of the day. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thanks. I will I'll check you guys on Thursday at 11. Same time, same place on Thursday. And yeah, bring your questions, bring your friends, tell your parents. I don't know. And yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll figure out what's going on, and it'll be close to the end of the week, so that'll be fun. Same bat time, same bat channel. Good stuff. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.